the court was in receipt of the 11th violation report from pretrial services.
Yes. And just to clarify something real quick.
Okay.
Mr. Garcia is not my client. He is represented by Luis Martinez, who could not be here this afternoon to be able to address the
11th violation, not second, not third, 11th. At this point, we're not talking about a slip-up. We're talking about a pattern. And in bond court, patterns matter more than promises. Judges don't just look at what you say, they look at what you've repeatedly done.
violation report.
Okay.
Just so you know, I did, he filled me in as well as a prosecutor filling me in, and I have spoken to Mr. Garcia and explained the situation, and he is okay with me standing in for Mr. Martinez right now.
Okay, and then the warrant was issued because was he here on time or something?
He was here on time, is my understanding. However, there was a positive for cocaine drug test that came through the lifetime recovery, and it was to the violation report.
Okay. So this is his 11th violation report.
I understand, and the only thing that I don't have.
And there it is, a positive cocaine test while already under court supervision. That's a direct violation of pre-trial release conditions. When you're on bond, you're essentially on borrowed trust. A failed drug test. That tells the court the trust might be running out.
The information I don't have is the 10 prior violation reports. However, I did confer with the prosecutor. There does seem to be a real and legit drug issue that Mr. Garcia does need to address, and he does want to address. The concern that we'd like to bring to the court right now is allowing him to be out on his monitor, maybe even changing it back to partial to allow him to continue to work while he is waiting to get into a facility. It's my understanding that there will be two different options. Either he can go into lifetime inpatient. However, when I spoke with the CLO, she does not know how long that wait will be. However, I did confer with Mr. Garcia, who tells me he is full-time employed with benefits. His benefits are going to include medical and dental, so he does believe that there may be a inpatient treatment available there. So we're asking simply that he just be able to continue working until he can get back into inpatient treatment, with a stipulation of 30 days to register for the treatment, shorter time if the court wishes, and then the GPS monitoring with continued drug testing.
Judge, so I would just request that, and I can speak to the last violation report. I believe it was because he did test positive in a urinalysis, and so for us to all address that, that's why he...
This is a subtle but powerful shift. Even the defense is acknowledging custody might be necessary. That's strategic. When defense attorneys pivot like this, they're trying to control the damage, suggesting structured treatment instead of straight jail time. It's not surrender. It's damage control.
He did take initiative as part of the court order as well for him to go to lifetime recovery, but I think at this point he does need to be in custody and residential treatment.
All right, this is what's going to happen. You're going to remain in custody. We'll have you brought back over, and Mr. Martinez should be here.
I understand, and that was actually going to be my fallback, is if the court was not willing to.
And that's the moment. You can almost feel the air leave the room. The judge isn't punishing him. She's prioritizing safety and accountability. Legally speaking, once violations stack up like this, the court's main concern becomes community safety and the defendant's stability. Freedom becomes secondary.
To go based off of the arguments that Mr. Martinez provided to me, if he can come back tomorrow to actually make the arguments with more information to the court.
All right, you'll need to speak to the deputies because there's a cutoff to ordering people.
ordering people. Okay.
And so they have to be processed, but at the latest, it will be Wednesday. I'm sorry, Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah. Why does it seem like today's long?
It's a long day. I agree, Your Honor. So I'll speak to the deputies, and if we can just have Mr. Martinez be able to appear on
Yeah.
Mr. Garcia's behalf.
Yes.
Ms.
All
Cody,
right. Thank you. Yes.
I'm the breadwinner of the house.
Mhm.
And I simply request to not put me back to the bail process. I'm trying to make a withdrawal from my 401k, so at least my wife and kids, if I have to do any amount of time, they can at least be covered. I'm more than willing to go into the inpatient treatment. I'll try myself in tomorrow. Come to your court tomorrow. That's God's on God's promise. I just simply want to know, so I can have peace in my heart that they.
Oh, they're going to bring you back over tomorrow. Here's the thing, Mr. Garcia. This is what I don't think you understand.
Yes.
The last time you use may be the last time you use. And then you...
Now we're seeing the human side. He's not arguing legal technicalities anymore. He's pleading as a father and provider. I'm the breadwinner. That's powerful emotionally. But here's the hard truth. Judges hear promises every single day. What they look for now isn't emotion. It's credibility.
know what would end up happening? I will feel bad. And you know why I would feel bad? Because I would have sent you off into the world knowing that you can't stop using on your own.
This right here, this is judicial realism. The judge is reframing the issue, not as punishment, but as life or death. Cocaine use under supervision isn't just a rule break, it's a spiral. And the judge is essentially saying, I would rather you be angry at me in custody than dead on the street.
So what I can tell,
Drugs in the morning.
but here's the thing. They're going to bring you back tomorrow.
The thing is, I want them not to lose the house.
Well, I mean, if they bring you back tomorrow, they shouldn't lose the house if you come back tomorrow.
Per se.
Okay, they'll bring you back tomorrow. All right, Jimmy Vara. But I feel a little bit justified because I wrote a letter and I said, please do not take him as the coach. And you know what? They could have called me up to coach. And I wouldn't have even had that big of a package, or if you would have fired me. Who ever heard of you get fired from a job because you didn't produce and you're still getting millions? What kind of contract are people throwing up?
And we are talking about football, right?
Yes, we are. You know, because my thing is, I don't know why people can't draw up a contract where they say, look, this is your base salary. If, you know, you go this far
Right.
in the playoffs or whatever, guess what? You get this amount.
Yeah.
No, you know, yeah.
It doesn't make any sense because I followed him before Notre Dame, and I said, the guy has never
And were you-
really won.
And were you impressed with him at Notre Dame?
And he left for a reason, and they still had a pretty good team.
Mhm.
Now LSU had a bunch of talent, and he's just like,
Here's my thing. To me, if you're coaching a football team, what are you bringing to the table? Are you a good recruiter? If your whole thing is, hey, I'm just the recruiter, then you need to recruit very well. But otherwise, are you a defensive specialist? Are you the offensive specialist? Is that what you're bringing? Are you bringing special teams?
well, you know, one of the things that I was always thinking when it came to him was like, you know, he's got a good program, but he's got tough competition. And,
No, see,
and then the other thing was that he really gets after people like players, and I think that's a little bit outdated.
But no, so here's the thing. On the defense, you got to play your position. And if you have players on the defense that are out of position, that's your fault. And some people, I saw somebody saying something bad about the players. I'm like, time out, hold the phone. These are players who are just out of high school. You need to take that to the coach. You need to take that to the offensive coordinator. You need to take it to the defensive coordinator. And then there's no tackling going on. LSU always has a great defense. And you know what gets me? What gets me is LSU doesn't win the championship, and then the next thing you know, a majority of the team is playing in the NFL.
You hit it, because they're one of the teams that has more NFL players every year in, year out. They're playing in the NFL.
You know, I always judge on how our offense is going to do, whether or not in the first two plays they throw a lateral pass. And when I see that lateral pass on the second play, I'm like, oh, here we go. So, oh well, she didn't come here for this.
But let me tell you, I saw 4 plays out of the UT game. This is exactly what they did. They threw a lateral pass almost backwards, and it's like,
Oh, you see it coming.
yeah, it's like,
I remember when Les Miles was coaching, I'm like, please do not do that lateral pass, because they would do a lateral pass, and the way they would throw it, I could have baked some cookies, mixed up the batter, put it in the oven, ran to Baton Rouge, intercepted the ball, and it still would have been floating out there.
and it gets worse for LSU, Judge, because I saw most of the game. A&M pumped them 14 points.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been 14, whatever the score was.
Oh, yeah.
That's 14.
And I'm just,
Pick six, fumble at the.
and then the coach says, yeah, it's my fault. No, we know it's really not your fault. It's the fault of the people who hired you. Knowing that,
Well, let me tell you, on the Texas side, they have like 4 cup games coming up, but I'm almost sure they're gonna.
well, here's the thing. The only thing we can do, and I hate for us to do it, is we're going to have to ruin other people's hopes and dreams. That's all we can do. That's what Cornelius told me Florida's got.